Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I'm gonna allow for, hey Brittany, you're the first person here. Hey Brittany. Just gonna allow for a few more people to log on before we get started with this conversation. It's 5:57. Oh, Auntie. Hey guys, I know this is a recording, so for people who log in and view the footage later, we are waiting on a few more people to log on before we get started. And one of those people is our guest today, in which it is 4:58, so he'll be logging on shortly. I guess I can go ahead and set the space by saying happy Sunday, everybody, and welcome to the Fine Arts, Fine Life space here on IG Live. I am Michaela Moore, founder and executive director of Fine Arts, Fine Life, a nonprofit organization based in Birmingham, Alabama that utilizes fine arts to improve the mental wellness of our youth. You are tuned into Self-Care Sundays, where we have vulnerable conversations concerning fine arts and wellness with dynamic people from all walks of life, but particularly people from the world of fine arts or mental health, be it experts or advocates. And today we are having a conversation with the Ruben Studdard himself. So we'll just give a little time for him to log on. It is 4:59. I'm sure we'll see his notification pop up soon. In the meantime, how are you guys? I see so far it's my aunt, Dorothy Datcher. And while I have your ear, she has a product, SCP, and it's actually, you can see it on the logo present. And SCP is just a pouch, a sanitizing carrying pouch that basically prioritizes wellness within itself, in and of itself, because you carry a pouch. It just makes it more convenient to carry your hand sanitizer. And you know how we normally, like, if you need hand sanitizer, you're having to dig into your purse and you're contaminating everything within your bag or your purse or whatever. Well, this kind of eliminates all that germ passing. So anywho, my sister is here. Hey, Nisi. We are waiting on Ruben to log on so that we can get started with our conversation. And today's conversation is going to be maybe about 30 minutes. I just kind of want to be respectful of his time, I guess, as well as everyone else's time. So yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. And while we're waiting, I guess I can give a little bit more information about Fine Arts, Fine Life. So I established Fine Arts, Fine Life during the pandemic. The idea came to me during the pandemic, and we launched in March. So currently we're partnered with YMCA of Greater Birmingham and BRED, and basically I do expressive arts exercises with the youth, their patrons, who are our youth. And we have so many other like exciting programs and things coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned. I implemented Fine Arts, Fine Life, but I implemented Self-Care Sundays just as another way to kind of drive the conversation about self-care and normalize some of these practices. And I guess for people who are searching, kind of offer self-care solutions. No, so I mean, this is basically a family reunion here. So I have my sister, I I have my aunt. I have my cousin who's like my sister. Let me see. And so no, you haven't missed Ruben. As a matter of fact, he is joining now. So Ruben, you'll have to request to join the live, and then I'll add you that way. Oh, there it is. All right, here we go.
Hello.
Well, hello. How are you? Wait, you're sideways. Wait a minute. Let me see what sweatshirt you have on. You know what they say. Wait, tan down. What is this sweatshirt? You
You
know what they
already you already
say?
know what it is. Them
Great minds.
Bulldogs.
Great minds. Shout out to Alabama A&M University.
AM, 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 AM.
A&M, you.
You.
Woo! Booty, booty. So shout out to Alabama A&M University. Two Bulldogs here. We have a lot to be shouting out Alabama A&M for. We just
Absolutely.
dominated. What's the name of the classic? The Gulf Coast Classic.
Gulf
We
Coast
just
Classic.
dominated Tuskegee. And still shout out to Tuskegee, HBCU love.
Absolutely.
And homecoming is coming up.
Homecoming is coming up.
There are a lot of great things going on with Alabama A&M right now.
Absolutely.
Baby. So how are you?
I'm very well. How are you, my friend? It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. All things are well here in Birmingham, Alabama. Are you in Birmingham, Alabama right now?
I am where I am.
I wasn't even going to go that far. I want to ask where you are. But man, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for being here with us. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your talent. Oh, more HBCU love, Southern University, Morgan State. Yes. Okay, so let's kick this thing off because again, I want to be mindful of your time.
Okay.
Hopefully, we're not to exceed 30 minutes.
Okay.
But you know how things happen, you know. We're not going to exceed it. But okay, so let's start out with what does wellness mean to you?
I mean, it's a couple different things, you know what I mean? Because, there physical wellness,
Okay.
and there's mental wellness,
Yes.
you know what I mean? So I think both of those are extremely important. I think earlier on in my life, I was less concerned with the physical and more with the mental.
Mm-hmm.
And as I got older, I understood that they are both equally important. So, I mean, I'm sure people can see I'm substantially smaller than I used to be, and that's because I started taking care of the physical. But mental is very important. I think that we go through a lot of things in life that affect our mental health. One of the biggest points in my life where I had to be very cognizant of my mental health is when I lost my brother. And I think, a lot of, especially in the African American community, we don't talk very openly about depression or things of that nature. But I could tell that I was absolutely not 100% myself after losing my brother. And a lot of people around me, my mom, my manager, a lot of people around me could tell that I just wasn't myself. I wasn't as jovial. I wasn't the same. And so I had to focus on my mental health by going to see a therapist. And it really helped me. It really helped me move forward and understanding that, the thing that my brother would want the most is for me to have uh, a wonderful, beautiful, productive life, as opposed to wallowing in the fact that he was no longer with us. So, I encourage as many people as I can to make sure, like when you go through something traumatic, talk to somebody about it because, I internalized it, and tried to move on as if nothing had happened. Like I was literally like my brother passed and I went right into producing a Broadway musical.
Oh wow, I remember that.
So this is, you know, I really didn't have a lot of space to, and I didn't really recognize how difficult it was until I was on stage, and every night they would play a video of my brother and I would just break down. My brother had passed months before we were on stage, but I, you know, as soon as he passed, like we went right into, you know, and you understand that we went right into
Absolutely.
writing the script, you know, putting together the music, staging, stage play. Like it was just a lot that went into doing that, and it was just Clay and I. So we had to really be focused um, in ways that sometimes most people can do a show and just show up knowing their lines.
Right.
Because Clay and I produced this musical, we had a lot more responsibility. So it took a lot, and you know, shout out to him for also, you know, being like my whole family, everybody around me was just really great, really great.
It's interesting that you know, you mentioned dealing with, you know, the loss of a loved one, because sometimes, you know, especially being artists, we might find that our art is therapeutic. And so
Hmm.
we lose ourselves in our art,
Hmm.
and we utilize that, you know, to become our new safe space, to I guess, you know, depend on self-expression. And it's so easy to really do the work of, well, or to forget to do the work of like contacting a therapist.
Absolutely.
Um, you know, really doing that work so that you don't have those certain triggers that take you back to a dark place.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you mentioned that. Um, and also when you say like beyond the therapist, like looking at some of the advice that the therapist might have given you, just unpacking what it looks like to do that work. What did some of that look like in terms of dealing with um, or unpacking what the therapist said?
I think a lot of what we talked about was more of the unspoken things between my brother and I. You
Mm,
know, a lot of the things that I um, regretted after he left is not like the thing that I thought got on my nerves when he was alive. Like I wish that I could have done more of that after he passed, if that makes any sense.
it
Like,
does.
um, you know, because you know, being a younger brother is, you know, in your earlier formative years can be an undertaking because everybody makes you understand that you're a younger brother,
Right.
especially your older sibling. And you know, as I got older, I took it upon myself to be like, remember when you didn't let me go to such and such? Well, you can't
Ooh.
go to such and such. Remember when I could, you know what I mean? And I was, you know, being petty in a fun, jovial way. But the like now that he's not here, I wish that like there were things, you know, like my son is 1 year old now,
I
and
can't wait to talk about that.
you know, like not having his uncle Kevin around is just as it's just it's different because I was there for his son's formative years. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah,
And you know what? That was one of the things that I kind of dwelled on. You know, I'm not a parent yet, but um, at some point, I guess it'll happen. And so I would just remember even thinking about before I was married, before children were even um, a thought or should have been a thought. I was thinking, you know, my kids won't get to meet my dad, and
right.
um, you know, but let's kind of shift here. Um, what has been? Oh no, I'm sorry. Let's backtrack. So tell me some of the things that you would do with your wellness practices. I know you said that, you know, health has become a big wellness practice for you, or you're taking into consideration. What are some of the things that you practice, or what's that look like?
Just more time for me and the things that I like to do. You know what I mean? Like that's just, you know, really important now, more so than anything. Just really thankful that I get an opportunity. You know, like even with this pandemic going on, it gives you an opportunity for clarity in ways that you know you wouldn't normally have, and I'm thankful for that.
Absolutely. And so, speaking of the pandemic has been a time for people to come a lot more conscious about wellness, a lot more intentional about wellness practices and solutions. What has been your biggest takeaway during this time? Like, did it help you with your artistry? Like, what has been your
You,
biggest takeaway?
you know what? Absolutely. Like I feel like, and I'm working on an album now, so
Ooh,
I feel like the music that I come out with will be better because it's not rushed.
that.
You know, a lot of times, and it's funny because as creatives, a lot of times we crave the attention or the validation of the community in which you work in, right? So, like, um, when I first won American Idol, like there was a lot of attention put on what kind of album I was going to make and who I was making it with, and you know, and the producers surrounding it, as opposed to the quality of the songs. Not that my first album or second album or any album after that wasn't fantastic. It's just more attention placed on the end result as opposed to the process. Um, Now you know you get an opportunity to like really like think about what you want to sing about. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
really think about like what you want to put out there. Like in early on in my career, it was almost like a rush to get to market because you didn't want to be behind
Mm-hmm.
another artist having a hot single. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like so, you know, like I did Sorry 2004, and a year later, Change Me comes right after behind it. Like it's like it was like a rush to get you know hot songs out as opposed to like really working on like that you know that those kinds of works that build longevity. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Okay. And I like that you say longevity. And so your artistry, your talent plays such a big part of our culture,
Hmm.
right? And so we get wrapped up in, I guess, the glamour and the glitz of being artists.
Hmm.
It's easy to get wrapped up and consumed in that part of it. But we actually, as artists, and I say we loosely, but we have such a responsibility and we carry a heavy responsibility to, I guess, share the truths of our time,
Hmm.
our history. And when you speak of your new work and the longevity of it, what does that look like in terms of, things that are going on right now?
You know,
What history will be reflected, or is that something that you want to reflect
I just
in your
want to
work?
make I want to make great R&B music. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I mean, so like let's take music in like a historical perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say I mean there was a lot of injustice going on when Earth, Wind and Fire put out Sing a Song,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
Like, you know, America wasn't perfect then.
Mm-hmm.
But doesn't make the music any less important to us as a culture that they weren't speaking directly to what we were going to at the time. Like they were getting like I think music and creativity should be a way for us to like step away from that for a time.
You're so brilliant.
I mean, well, not
That is
you know,
brilliant.
no, I'm just saying. I mean, because I mean, like, think about like, I mean, I don't know exactly when Frankie Beverly's Happy Feelings came out, but I'm almost positive it was like in the early '80s. We had like full on gang problems. We were having like a crack epidemic. It was all kind of stuff going on when that man put that song out, and like I'm sure that people were like are so thankful that he just decided like to put out happy feelings as opposed to like writing a song about like I seen a crack brother down the street. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it's you. So like like for me, I just want to put out stuff that makes people feel good, and that's really what I want to do. Like I have had my time with putting out poignant songs, like the album I did in Nashville with a lot of the Nashville writers and John Jackson and all those people. Like I wrote about like stuff that was going on and what I felt was important, and I got that out. Now I just want people to feel good. Like we've been in the house. Like let's two step a little bit. Let's have a let's reminisce about the barbecues.
I love it. I love it. And okay, so me mentioning your brilliance brings me to this point. So, according to Plato, the perfect man is an artist,
Mm-hmm.
musician, as well as an athlete.
Okay.
Okay. So, I thought about you when I heard this book, when I thought about this quote again, because you were an athlete in college.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you're kind of still utilizing those practices to assist you in your wellness journey today.
Mm-hmm.
And you also are a profound musician.
Okay.
And so Plato says, I guess he defines this perfection as being, if you are too engulfed in the arts or music,
Mm-hmm.
then you're probably too feminine. Or you're feminine to a place that doesn't serve you. And so the other part of that is, if you are only an athlete, then you're too barbaric.
Right.
But a mixture of the two makes the perfect man.
Right.
So I just want to tell you, according to Plato, you are the perfect guy. I mean,
Plato, you're talking about a Greek philosopher. That guy.
right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Now,
Oh my God, the things that we as bulldogs think about is just, it's just so,
listen. So I mean, it applies here, right? So
All
I'm
right.
sharing it. But speaking of men and the pressures to be perfect, one of the stigmas surrounding men, I guess, in mental health is self-expression,
Mm-hmm.
or expressing your emotions, or if you're sad, or you're going through issues, you don't need to showcase that, or you don't need to speak on it or divulge it. It needs to be secret, and that makes you masculine, that makes you macho, that defines you as a man. Could you speak to that?
I couldn't. What's the question? I'm sorry.
Can you speak to I guess the pressure society places on men to suppress emotion? Or where does that come from? Is that society?
I don't think it's society. I think that, well, I guess society in general, because, as young boys, like, like when we have an inclination to cry, the first thing people will say to you is suck it up. And, and so we spend our lifetimes sucking things up, like, like taking things on the shoulder, not really responding to things when we feel like we need to. I mean, like, even, I've seen people like literally break their leg on the football field and try not to cry. You know what I mean? Like, that's just, like, because we're taught at a very early age to have a warrior mentality. Like, even when, like cousins or friends, we might have a front yard fight. And the first thing that when you come in after somebody might have bloodied your nose, they're, all right, cut out all that crying now.
And did you win?
Every now and again, everybody take an L every now and again. But no, I think that it's what helped me learn how to express myself was more things inside of education as opposed to like that those kind of exchanges from with family members. Like having my sixth grade English teacher was really, really like great at helping us with like express ourselves through poetry, which is why I think I became a decent songwriter. I'm not the best, but I'm decent. She introduced me to debate, which allowed me the opportunity to learn how to make a point, like make an educated point, not just make a point, like just to argue for the sake of arguing. And
Mm-hmm.
this is why I'm like a huge advocate for supporting our teachers, because you like one might think that to me, like the most important educators I had were my music educators. Like one might think that if they were led to just see me from a surface point, but because I'm aware, because I was raised by teachers, I can now look back and see where certain teachers made different impacts on my life that completely made me the whole person that I am. We're always growing and evolving, but there were teachers that made me into the person that I am today. You know what I mean? And so I think it's even more important to help our young men and women learn how to express themselves the correct way.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? Because tears aren't always the correct way to express yourself. A lot of times that's a default emotion, as opposed to saying, hey, I didn't like how I felt when you did this. Or this is not, I don't, so like I think
Mm-hmm.
that, we should encourage our teachers to be more involved with our kids and showing them the better ways to communicate with one another, because like especially now in a world of emojis and short text messages, like things that you want to say can get lost. And I think that having educators like yourself, my mom, and others, like understanding how to teach young people how to express themselves is important.
I like that. And I recall, I know you have a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and the work you were doing with that, I don't know what's going on with it now, especially with the pandemic, but the
Yeah.
work you were doing was like phenomenal.
Right.
Um, with along with your artistry and your legacy, in that respect,
Mm-hmm.
um, and then your work with your nonprofit, what do you feel would define your ultimate fulfillment? And
You
how
know,
does it align with your
I'm sorry.
purpose?
I think that I have been put here for a reason, and that reason, especially because of where I'm from, is to inspire young people to dream past their present circumstances. Because being in Alabama, it could seem as though becoming a professional in entertainment is as far from Alabama as it is from Alabama to the moon. Like it seems that impossible. And
Mm-hmm.
I used or tried to use my foundation and the camps that I put on to show the young people that the goal is really more attainable than you actually think if you continue to educate yourself in the thing that you want to do. I think a lot of our young people do not or aren't inspired enough to continue on with their arts education. Like as if the arts aren't as important as mathematics or like those. I mean, those things are important, like, calculus, algebra,
Mm-hmm.
great. Biology, chemistry, great. But like art has really inspired whole civilizations. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
and we would do well if we encouraged our kids to continue in the tradition that all of humankind has seemingly understood is important. You know, even before there was parochial school, people were like sitting in caves trying to draw stuff, or singing songs with one another, or doing, you know, like making instruments. So I just feel like it's important that, you know, even with the pandemic, it's been, of course, difficult to do the summer camp that we do every year. But hopefully, you know, things will change and we'll be able to come back. But, you know, I was able to see the fruit of my work while I was on Broadway. One of the kids that was in my camp was actually in a musical across the street from where Clay and I's show was. So
Get
that for
out.
me was like, it was huge. And not only that, like, I mean, I see so many of the kids that, I mean, I call them kids, they're like grown people now. So many of the people that were in my camp, like, you know, working musicians, doing what they love, you know, like inspiring other young people. And so that means that something that I said to them in some way inspired them to keep moving forward in the arts.
And nothing is more fulfilling than seeing your pupils out there doing the work that you've instilled in them and benefiting, excuse me, benefiting, you know, it's benefiting their lifestyle in some kind of way. You know, maybe they're not musicians, but they're thriving in their careers and such. I've seen so many of my students, you know, go on to have families of their own and careers. I'm just like, dang, number one, it means I'm old, I'm getting older, but
Right.
it's so fulfilling.
I mean, but you know, I remember, I remember when I like the one memory that sticks with me to this day about winning American Idol was my teachers in the shot after I won. Like all of my like people that were building blocks to me being at that point, like Miss Agee was there, Mr. Smith from Smith Middle School was there, Mr. Gillespie from Huffman High School, and
Wow.
at the very end, like when I finally finished, Mr. Tucker got on and said, "Ruben, this is the day that the Lord has made. You should rejoice and be glad."
I'm so glad you did that impression because it was coming. It was coming. I was going to ask, like, when I think of people who inspired your career, I remember you used to always talk about Mr. Tucker.
Yeah.
And I was waiting on a Mr. Tucker impression.
Yeah, he was a special guy, and you know, I learned a lot from him, and I learned a lot from a lot of people, but I learned so much about and you know, I came from a great family, but Mr. Tucker was just like class personified, and he made you elevate everything that your parents and family had taught you, you know, and I love him for it.
And you know, I was never in choir.
Mm-hmm.
So my encounters with Mr. Tucker were not as plentiful as yours. But one time I was going to do a play,
Mm-hmm.
not a play, I'm sorry, a pageant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was performing, what is going on with me? La Boheme.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to him just to make sure my diction and everything was correct, which I already knew, but I just kind of wanted him to kind of boost.
You knew.
I knew it. And he was like, I think his question was kind of like, why aren't you in choir? And I was like, well, I mean, I'm in band, so, you know, there's limited time for me to, you know, come and do choir rehearsals, but I did do vocal jazz and some on my senior year. So
he would have gave you that check. He'd have gave you that same check.
Okay, so one thing that's awesome about you, and that you definitely demonstrated today, is that you have a very keen sense of self-awareness. Okay, one thing I've always admired about you is your ability to just say no. And people don't realize how powerful that that ability is, because there's so much pressure with saying no to people. You know, you have expectations on your time and your talent, and you know, I know you get requests out the wazoo. So how, aside from telling people no, because you got that master, you got that, how do you quiet the noise and center when people are always requesting your time and your energy? How do you?
I've just resolved that that is going to be a part of my life for the rest of my life. And wasting a lot of time being frustrated about people wanting things is an unnecessary thing for me to do. Because I can either say yes or no. That, you
Right.
know, it's incumbent upon me to say if I want to do it or not, you know. And I'm just thankful that people care enough at times to want to hear what I have to say or hear what I have to sing.
Uh-huh.
And that takes a lot of, it takes maturing, because I wasn't always as thankful, but people don't have to listen. You can go to a room and there can be crickets waiting on you when you get there. And you can
That
still
part.
be who you are. And so I think the older you get, the more you understand how, especially when it comes to people paying to see you perform, you understand how much it takes for people to, like, especially with what we like in the last 10 years, like everybody's going through financial issues and stuff. It takes a lot for somebody to say, you know what, Ruben, I want to give you $75 two times.
Yeah.
Because undoubtedly they're buying an extra ticket for someone else. They're not just going to go by themselves.
That's
So
right.
I want to give you $75 two times. For you to stand on stage and sing. Like, I'm not building no houses. I'm not, doing anything that's extremely essential to somebody's life. I'm entertaining for someone.
That's essential.
It is essential,
This
but
world without entertainment.
yeah, but people would still be alive. It would be a monotonous life, but they would still be alive all the same. And what I'm saying to you is that for me, the older I get, the more I understand how important it is that somebody would take money that they could put somewhere else and give it to you to do something. Now, they're not just giving it to me, they're giving it to the venue, to the people that work. Because, the ticket price supports more than just Ruben Studdard. It supports the whole
Right.
engine of things that go on in that one theater, but I appreciate it. And a lot differently than I did when I was 25 after I just won. Like, because I was a kid, so to speak. I was an adult, but I was a kid, man.
Wow. Yeah. That, you know what, that's it's beautiful that you recognize that and you're appreciative of your fans, and you know, that is awesome. So speak on,
And also,
let's talk.
like I've been on the road. I toured with like a lot of older musicians, and watching somebody like Patti LaBelle stand in the rain and sign people's autographs is like, man, like, this lady is like older than your mom. You know what I mean? Like, the least you can do is stand, with these people and take a picture. You know what I mean? Like, when you start putting those kinds of things in perspective, like me singing with Dionne Warwick and being in a New York hotel and seeing people fan out over her and how she just stands there and graciously allows all of her fans to take photographs. Like, this is Dionne Warwick.
You know what? So it happened like that with Jennifer Holiday. So I did a Dreamgirls production with Red Mountain Theater, and she came, and at the end she came to the stage. I think she spoke, and the cast and people from the audience were coming up to take pictures with her. Like, she legit stood there for like an hour taking pictures with people. And I remember taking a selfie, but it was blurry. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm not gonna. She was like, oh no. So we took like 3 selfies, because one, I had said something and she was laughing, so we both were laughing.
Right.
And then she was like, let's do that one over. Let's do that one over. And I was just like, in awe. It was just like, you know.
Yeah, she put me on Super Game too. Like I do this Christmas show most years called The Colors of Christmas, and one year Miss Holiday was on it. She was I mean, she was killing every night, like full on, like because everybody wants to hear. And I am telling you, I'm not
Right.
going. Even though it's Christmas, they still want to hear it.
Right.
But of course, I have to come on after that, right? After she finished killing this, classic song. And what I learned then is like, yo, you got to be on 100% every single time, because coming behind legends, you don't have an off night, because they gonna make you work. And that's also that Broadway mentality too. Like if you notice, a lot of singers that come from Broadway, they are killers. They will chop you down because their vocal dexterity is it's at such a high level.
You know what, too? And here's a time that I'm so appreciative of your friendship, and just sometimes just being in your presence, because the magnitude of your career, is just astounding. Like, I can recall you saying, and I freaking love Boys to Men. Like, I love Boys to Men. And I remember you saying, I knew I made it when I was standing in the wings watching Boys to Men perform.
Yeah.
Like, that was like your I made it moment.
Absolutely. Because I had spent so much time trying to be there. And for God to like put me in a place where I was like
on tour with them.
I was like, oh, this is it. And it's so funny because, a lot of times, especially here at Alabama, what people will say, well, what you got going on, Ruben? What you doing? And for me, in the beginning of my career, I used to be like, you know what? Like, are y'all not paying attention? Like, what's going on? Like, I mean, but the older I got, the more I just understood, like, everything ain't for everybody. Like, when I'm on the road with David Foster, that's not everybody's show. I know that I'm on the road with Natalie Cole and Boys to Men, but it may not be for the world to be. Like, I mean, like, I literally came off a world tour, and I got in the Birmingham airport, and somebody was like, man, what you been doing? And I was like, but I was like, how could he possibly know I was just on stage in Singapore singing to 130,000 people? Like, he couldn't know that? It's not because he's in, like, how could he know? So, like, for me, I was like, man, I just got off the road, bro. Thank you. Good to see you, man. Because what I now, the older I am, what I love is that Birmingham can be a refuge from the light, if that makes sense.
It does and it doesn't, because
no, you don't. But you need a break. Like,
you do need a break. But I remember one time we were having dinner. We were at J. Alexander.
Okay.
And a lady saw you and nearly, like, I couldn't even explain what I thought she was going into. I almost thought she was about to transform into like another person or something. Like, she was so starstruck, and she like stopped her husband, like, take a picture. She was just like, okay, I don't want to put my acting hat on here, but she was like, are you Ruben Studdard?
Yeah, but
and then she was like,
but I also think that she might not have been from Alabama as well. Like, people here,
Alabama.
People here, like, I'm more like their homeboy. So it's like,
to a certain degree.
Yeah, but still, like, you don't want to, like, who wants to fan out over their homeboy? Like, you know what I mean?
This lady was not your homeboy. And this is, I feel like you're being modest right now, but this lady was for sure, like, having a moment. She was so excited to see you. But and then I know the year that you came to my school, and I mean, the year you came and played, did you play tuba or trumpet? No, you played trumpet. That's something else people don't know about you, that you are an instrumentalist as well as a vocalist.
I know, I suck.
And
I'm a middle school instrumentalist, okay? I can
But no,
still play
again,
some middle school trumpet. I
my
cannot
whole
play.
school, what I was not expecting was for my whole school to practically shut down with people wanting autographs and pictures with you. So yeah, it is what it is. But I did want to ask you, just in the grand scheme of was social media really big when you won American Idol? No, it
My
was not.
MySpace.
It was MySpace.
Yeah, that's
How has like Instagram and Facebook and those spaces transform your career, or have they?
I think that the more people my age get on these platforms, it starts transforming our like the engagement with people of a certain age. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, because my career goes with the progression of of social media. Like when I first won, MySpace was out, then Facebook showed up shortly thereafter, and so on and so forth. You know what I mean? So um, it's definitely cool to engage. Like a lot of times, like you know, you don't. Some people won't know about a show that you're having. Otherwise, like other than being on social media. So it's cool to like have those kind of like moments where people can see what you're doing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just like any other medium. It's good.
So let me ask this question. So social media can definitely make you feel like you're not doing enough, or like you're not in the right spaces, or you're not surrounded by the right people. Um, I know I've actually fallen victim to this myself. I don't know about you, but there are times that people just glamorize their life in such a way that can make it you feel like, well, I'm not doing enough. Like I need to do, a little bit more. I need to be moving here or whatever the case. How do you correct um, or self-check and course correct that sort of
That's
negative
that's
energy?
that's never something that bothers me ever. Like I have like people telling me, "Hey, you need to be doing more." Like my managers are always like, "Hey, you need to come on with it." So that's never like something that people will ever be like, "Oh man, Ruben." I never feel that way. I
Ah,
never do. Like because I give so much when I'm doing what I do, like on stage and otherwise. Like I don't. That never crosses my mind. So I could probably do way more than I do.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I just see a lot of people feeling like pressures from social media, like to
Well,
either
that's just in general. Whatever's popular, people are gonna feel pressure from what's popular.
and then comparison and
Right.
things of that nature. What affirmations do you tell yourself to have this kind of energy that you're like, oh no, I don't feel like I need to do more? What
I,
affirmations?
I'm enough. Always.
Love it.
Yeah. Always.
I love that. But yeah, absolutely. I love that energy. Well, it has been about 45 minutes. There's so many other things I want to ask you. I definitely, we cannot close without me asking, what is fatherhood like for you? Um, do you what things did you take away from your own childhood that you're instilling in your child?
I mean, it's just an opportunity to grow as an individual, more so than anything. Like you become better because you want them to see better. So that's like I'm trying every day to be the best version of myself for him, and that's pretty much all I can do.
Wow. So do you want him to like sing?
I don't have any like preconceived anything about anything. I want him to be a great person. Period. The end. That's it.
I love it. See, people don't know all. Well, I'm sure people do know, but they got a extra dose of your brilliance today.
Thank you.
And let me tell you, I have preconceived notions. Like I've already told my husband, I do not want my son to play football. I just don't.
I mean, well, if he
Now
wants,
he
but
looked at me.
if he wants to
I
play, he
almost
can play.
don't care what he wants. Like I don't like. He's like, "Mommy, can I play football?" I'm like, "No."
I mean, but I
But my
mean, you,
husband has said he's playing football if he wants to play football.
yeah,
Like,
you'll feel differently. It's more. It's not about you.
I feel like you enjoy saying that. It's not.
No, we got sister. High five, sis. We good. Bam. All right.
Okay. Well, was there anything you want to share that I didn't ask? Like it
And
is.
you asked everything. Trust me. We're of course. I promise you, Ruben, I won't keep you longer than 30 minutes. I promise. You go, I got you. 35.
Oh, look, that's what I thought. What typically we're somewhere in that 45-minute time span. When I was on with Ryan, we actually were over an hour. And I just remember being like, ooh, like, oh, I don't want to like take up that much of anybody's time, but you know, I appreciate you for being here. Here's my sister, Caramel Brown. She said, great conversation. Kudos to you both. Speaking of some of the things you were saying, like she was a big sister who would not share her stuff. Like she is so giving now. I almost am like, who are you? She would never share. She was like, no, don't wear my stuff. Don't anything. Anywho, that's a whole nother conversation.
Right.
Thank you so much for being here.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
I guess wait, one more question. Are you performing or are you not performing at homecoming?
I have no I'm supposed to be performing at homecoming as of right now. We shall see.
I saw your name on a flyer, but I can recall you saying you didn't know about homecoming.
Yeah, I don't, but I believe I am. So Bulldogs, show up.
I guess I'll see you. Can I share a story? Wait, I probably should not share the story. The infamous story about homecoming after you won Idol.
Nah, don't let that go, man.
Story you keep telling me.
Let it go, Keller. All right.
Don't share this story. Don't tell me this story again.
Right,
but okay,
please.
friend, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. As the saying goes, you could have been anywhere, but you were here with Self-Care Sundays with Fine Arts, Fine Life. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And happy Sunday.
Peace, y'all.
Guys, thank you so much for being here today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday and a productive work week, relaxation week, mental health, clarity week, etc. All right. Bye-bye. See how to log off here. I don't see the end button. I don't see the end button. All right. Thanks, guys.